Greetings, adventurers. Welcome back to the channel, RPG A Day 2021 with me, Eric's UK. Day 15, we have the word supplement as our prompt. And I thought I would just touch on my favourite type of supplements. As a GM, I love bestiaries. I love monster manuals. I love anything that adds more variety and variedness to my selection of possible adversaries and monstrous beasties that I can put in the game. I've been a fan of monsters ever since I was a little kid, whether stuff in legend and lore or things in films, and that stayed with me all the way through to my current old age. I'm an old man. Anyway, yeah, I love monster supplement source books. Under 3.5, third edition 3.5, I used to get my hands on all of the official D&D monster manuals and the Fiend Folio, all of the setting specific ones as well as loads of third party monster add-ons. Because I think after a time, especially if you play with the same group years in, years out, or you play with very experienced players, everybody knows what a goblin is. Everyone knows what a mind flayer is. Everybody knows what a red dragon does, or what have you. And you need a bit more variety. Not everyone knows what an ooze wraith does, or what have you. Having a whole new selection of beasties keeps things interesting and fresh. I mean, you can always reskin monsters. I've done that many times before. Keep the same stats, keep the same whatevers, but just change the appearance, and nobody recognises what it is. And when they do a knowledge check or whatever, and you go that you're looking at a forest strider, and everyone goes, "A what?" No one's got an idea, even though it's just we'll say a wood giant or what have you. And I just, for myself, I just love reading them. I get lots of ideas for potential scenarios. Or if you saw my very first video for this year's RPG A Day, you know about monster hunts. And that's, kind of where I get a lot of ideas. If you want one-off scenarios, just pick a beastie and run with it. The other type of scenario supplement that I like is both as from a player perspective and a GM, is equipment guides. Good equipment guides, not just general stuff that you sometimes get from third parties or whatever. This came about because in the middle of the 1990s, during the days of second edition AD&D, TSR released a tiny little digest-sized book, really, a bit thicker, for Forgotten Realms primarily, called the Aurora's Whole Realms Catalogue, which was basically, how can I put this? Like the old catalogues that you used to get years and years ago, and put through the door, and you'd order stuff from it and they'd deliver. It was based on, the sort of like 1930s, 1940s style catalogues, but it was all fantasy stuff, and it was built into the setting that this woman named Aurora had a series of shops all around, or little stalls all around the realms. You placed an order, it got magically sent off to wherever it was picked up and teleported back to you, kind of like an Argos, if you know if you know of that store. I don't know if they have that outside the UK, but those in the UK will get the reference. But basically this had just everything, and it wasn't just adventuring gear. I mean, I remember there was like wooden clockwork wind-up children's toys were included, for example. It contained things like hammocks, which you don't normally see in like equipment guides, mosquito netting, it would cover things that you just wouldn't normally think of, fishing rods and items of clothing. In fact, one of my favourites in the Aurora's catalogue was a leather jerkin. And something like the very first line in the description was, "Sooner or later everybody needs a good jerkin," which always used to produce lots of giggles around the gaming table. These days things like Pathfinder First Edition, they did Ultimate Equipment, which was basically a list of every weapon, armour, piece of mundane gear, alchemical substances, as well as magical items from across a multitude of other books, as well as stuff that I've come up with just for this book. And you know, that's one of my most widely flicked through books, because again, much like monster supplements, monster manuals, it's a good source of ideas. You know, not every treasure that is found in a dungeon or a ruin or wherever has to be gold or gems or magical items. Mundane equipment can also be treasure, you know, especially if it's something that the party and the players haven't thought about. You know, it's still sellable if they don't want it, but it also expands the idea that it's a real world out there. People collect, you know, random things. So for me, my favourite supplements are various monster manuals and equipment guides. Anyway, what are your favourite supplements? I look forward to seeing your comments below and in the other vids. Give us a like, please, if you enjoyed the vid, and subscribe as it helps the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching. Take care. Good gaming.